So let's see our last topic in Linux administration today, which is Kickstart and network installation. See guys, whenever you have a huge environment and you want to install Red Hat Linux on multiple machines automatically, then we will go with Kickstart. So what exactly is this Kickstart? Let's try to understand. See guys, we'll take one machine as a Kickstart server, and on Kickstart server we will create one file which is called as Kickstart file. Okay, now in this Kickstart file we are going to give all the instructions how to perform installation on client, or in other words we will keep all the answers for the questions that would be asked during installation. What is the questions asked during installation? What language you want, which keyboard layout you want, time zone, what software you want to install, what root password you want to set, do you want to go with networking or not, kdump should be enabled or not, how many partitions do you want to create. So all that instructions are kept in this Kickstart file. Now what we do is whenever we are planning to do installation on any client, on the client we will insert Red Hat DVD and simply will connect to Kickstart server. That means installation will be done through Red Hat DVD, but the instructions will be automatically given by Kickstart file. And how can I share that Kickstart file? You can share it through FTP or you can share it through HTTP, whatever you want. Okay, so let's learn how to create a Kickstart file. Honestly speaking, Kickstart is going little dim nowadays because templating and other concept is taking place of Kickstart. But anyway, if there is a situation you have to build a Kickstart, you have to do like this. Previously, till Red Hat 7, we used to have a graphical configurator. That graphical configurator used to help us to enable Kickstart file creation, and that used to be very simple. But unfortunately, from Red Hat 8, they have removed that graphical tool. So there is no graphical configurator for Kickstart. Instead of that, they are giving us other method. If you come to your home directory and you see there is a file here, anaconda ks.cfg. So ks is nothing but Kickstart. Anaconda is your installer which has created this Kickstart file for you. What does this mean? See, when this machine was installed, during the installation of this machine, whatever options you have selected will be stored in this file, and it is an automatic Kickstart file for you. Suppose you want to install the same way 10 machines the way you have installed this machine, then there is a Kickstart file ready for you. So you can simply use that Kickstart file and install multiple machines. Or you can make necessary changes in this file as per your requirement, and you can install the way you want to install the other machines. So what you need to do is, suppose you wanted to share this Kickstart file through FTP. So just copy this file anaconda ks.cfg to var ftp pub. Now I want to use a small name instead of such a big name. I would like to call it just ks.cfg. Now I'll go to var ftp pub and you can see our file is here ks.cfg. Let's open it for editing. So if you come here, you will find that there are few options mentioned over here, which are changeable option. Like you see, the first option is use graphical install. See, during installation, would you like to see graphical screens or text screens? Now there are few options what you can use here other than this. You can go with graphical or you can go with text. If you mention graphical, then during installation, graphical screens will be displayed. If you mention text, then only text screens will be displayed, no graphics. So what you want to do during installation, that's what it is asking. Then what type of packages would you like to install? Would you like to go with graphical server environment or just server environment? If you mention graphical server environment, then graphical interfaces will be installed with command line as well. Suppose you want only command line installation, no graphics are needed, then remove the word graphical and just keep server environment. If you keep server environment, then only command line installation would be there. No graphical tools will be installed. Then it is talking about keyboard. What type of keyboard you want to use? By default, we are using Indian English keyboard. And if you want to change it, how to change it, I'll show you. And what language you want. So by default, the language is English with respect to India. I'll show you if you want to change these two options, how to change them. Then comes network information. Now guys, while installation, would you like to assign some IP to your computer? If yes, then you can go with this option. Network, boot proto, you can use static or you can use auto. If you use static, that means you're planning to assign a static IP. So you need to select which device you want to assign the IP, what should be the IP address, what should be the subnet mask, and whether you want to go with IPv6 address, you can assign that also. But guys, if I keep static IP, and suppose I'm installing 10 machines. So with static IP, if you go with 10 machines, then all 10 machines will get same IP. Don't you think there will be a IP conflict that all machines are having same IP? So if you don't want that IP, then what you can do is instead of static, you can go with DHCP. Now you don't have to give IP address. You can ignore IP address, subnet mask, all that option. So automatic IP will be assigned. See, on production environments, most important environments, we'll maintain DHCPs, which assign automatic IP to every client. And as a result of which, every machine will get a different IP. No two machine can get same IP, so that is safe. So in that scenario, you can go with DHCP. But guys, you should have DHCP setup done before you can choose this option. Now, if you don't have DHCP option also, better comment this line. No IP should be assigned. We'll assign the IP manually later. Now, one more option is here. From where you want to do installation. Would you like to do installation through CD-ROM? Or there is one more option you can select here is network. Now how to use network as an option I'll show you later, but in first scenario we'll want to do installation through Red Hat DVD. That means on the client side we will insert Red Hat DVD, and through that DVD all the installation we want to perform. Let's not change it. See, after your installation is completed, it would ask you some question. What the question it will ask? It would ask you, uh, would you like to register to Red Hat Network and also accept the license agreement? Do you want to see that screen after your installation for the first time you boot? If yes, keep it enabled. If you don't want to see that screen, then just give disable. That means no question will be asked. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to make it disable. Right, so no questions should be asked after installation. Now, how many partitions do you want to create in your hard disk? See, first of all, I'm going to use the hard disk SDA, the first disk connected to my system. One more option is here, partition clearing information. Do you want to clear all previous partitions that you have on the hard disk? See, suppose I'm trying to do reinstallation on a machine. Now that machine was already having 3, 4 partitions or 10 partitions created. So my requirement is I want to delete all previous partitions and I want to create fresh 3 partitions. So in that scenario, there is an option mentioned here, clear path. It says do not clear previous partitions. So I'll say no, clear all partitions. That means delete all previously created partition and freshly create 3 new partitions. See guys, as you know, we need 3 important partitions for installation: root, boot, and swap. So here you can select that what should be the file system for root, on which hard disk, and what should be the size. So I'm selecting here the size should be 15 GB, or maybe if you want you can reduce the size. So in my case I want to little reduce it to maybe 14 GB approximately. Then swap, I want to make it 2048 2 GB because I'm expecting a smaller space on my client, so I'm going with swap space as 2 GB. And boot partition, I want to go with 1 GB, that's fine. If you want, you can create more partitions by copy pasting that line, so that many partitions will also be created. But 3 partitions are more than enough, that's fine. Then the next thing is time zone. What is the time zone you want to assign? By default, this machine was installed under the time zone Asia Kolkata, so it took that. Now, if you want to assign a different time zone, then what to do? Maybe you are not in India, you are in UK or US or Australia, then how to get? You can go with this command, time date ctl list time zones. So when you run this command, it displays all the time zones that you can use. A huge list of time zone will be available, so you can select whatever time zone you want and assign it over there. Okay, then the next thing is root password, which is very important. See, I want a root password to be assigned. Now, I don't remember that when I install this machine, what is the root password I have assigned. Maybe now I wanted to go with a new root password, and that password must be assigned automatically after installation. So how can I encrypt? You need to mention a root password in encrypted format. You cannot just mention the password like this. Suppose I need a password Red Hat. So I cannot just mention Red Hat over here. I should encrypt it. Now, how can I encrypt a root password? See, there is one command called OpenSSL -1 or OpenSSL password -1 and whatever password you want. So you see it encrypted. For example, I want to set a password like this, or I want to set a password like this. Whatever, it has encrypted. What is the command? Open SSL password -1 and whatever password you want. So it will convert that normal string into encrypted password. So I'm going to copy this, come back and remove that word red hat. In place of that word red hat, you can put that dollar something something, whatever you want. Also, if you want, you can additionally add a user called my user, and you can set a password for my user as well. So maybe I want some other password for my user. So I'm going to remove that and I'll again generate a password. Maybe I'll go this time with a password red. So let me copy this, the whole thing, come back and paste it. That's it. So your new user, my user, will be created with this password. Now you should remember that what passwords you have set. If you forgot, then anyway, you know how to reset a password, right? Then would you like to enable KDUM? Would you like to go with KDUM? If yes, then keep it enabled and that's it, right? Also, I wanted to add one more thing. That is, let me put a comment, reboot after installation. See, I don't want it to ask me a question to reboot the machine after installation. As soon as installation is completed, it should automatically reboot. So I'm mentioning it over here that as soon as the installation is completed, you just reboot the system. So these are the options what we have to set and prepare our Kickstart. Would you like to go with graphical screen during installation or text screen? Then what packages would you like to install? And what is the keyboard layout and language you want? Okay, if you want to mention a keyboard layout and different keyboards, then you can select it by using this command localctl list locals. This will give you different language support. And localctl list key maps. This will give you different keyboard support. So you can select the keyboard according to English or different whatever language, Arabic or Spanish, whichever you want, you can select it and just mention it in your Kickstart file. Thereafter, would you like to do installation through CD-ROM or network? I told I want to do through CD-ROM. So installation would be performed through Red Hat CD or CentOS CD, whichever you are using. After installation, I don't want it to ask any question. So I have disabled first boot agent. Then we decided to create three partitions: root, swap, and boot. System time zone I want is Asia Kolkata, which is selected, and root password in an encrypted format I have mentioned. And if you want to add a user apart from root, then mention the details. And what you want to do with KDUM and reboot after installation is successfully completed. That's it. Now save and quit. After saving the file, just check what is the permission this file is having. So you see this file does not have read permission for groups and others. So what should I do? I need to add read permission for everyone. So in fact, I'll say chmod for all add read permission on ks.cfg. So now this file is readable by everyone. Last two steps, you need to check whether FTP services are running or not. See, in this machine, I already have VSFTPD package installed, because we have learned in our previous classes on the same machine how to configure FTP service. And if you check out the status VSFTPD services, they are also running. We have already configured. And one more thing, if you are doing it for the first time, do not forget to make a change in FTP config. Suppose this is a fresh machine, you're configuring FTP, then do not forget to go to vsftpd.conf and change anonymous enable equals to yes. If you don't change it, then you will not be able to connect freely to your FTP server. So as we have already configured this machine as FTP server, I have changed that no to yes. And then we have started the services, which is also active and running. And if you check firewall status, firewall command list all. In firewall, I have already granted FTP. You know, if in firewall anything is not added, you just need to say add service FTP permanent, and after that you need to say hyphen hyphen reload. So what it does, it is going to uh, add in firewall the FTP rule. So guys, FTP service is configured successfully. Firewall is also allowing it, and your Kickstart file is ready. What I need is another machine on which I can perform this setup. So guys, in my scenario, I have taken Rhel 40 as my Kickstart server, and Rhel 50 will be our client. So on the client, I'll go into settings. I just need to make CD drive as first boot device. So as you can see, Red Hat, or I'm sorry, optical media or DVD drive is my first boot device. I just need to check whether in storage RHEL DVD is connected or not. So it says empty. It's like there is Red Hat DVD or with you, and we have a DVD drive on the system. Now you need to open the tray and insert the DVD. So as it is showing empty, click on empty, click on that DVD button, choose the disk file wherever you have kept. In my case, here it is. So I'm going to connect RHEL 8.3 DVD. So now my system is going to boot with Red Hat DVD. Let me power on the machine by double clicking it. So it might take a little time to get powered on. 1 second, just a moment, I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, we have booted with Red Hat DVD, but there is no option here to go with Kickstart. Do you see any name mentioned here, Kickstart? Even if you go in troubleshooting also, there is no option related to Kickstart. When you don't have any option, you can create an option. You see at the bottom, it is written, press tab for full configuration. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press a tab key and I'm going to create a new option. Keep the cursor on line number 1, press tab. Now over here, you need to mention that how to reach Kickstart server. To reach Kickstart server, the address is FTP and the machine address on which you have configured the Kickstart. In our case, it is 192.168.10.40. That's the server on which I have configured Kickstart. So I'll say go to 40, go to public directory. Inside public directory, you'll find a file ks.cfg. Now, guys, if you have a DHCP server to automatically assign the IP, you can hit enter. It will automatically take the IP from Kickstart server, this machine, and it will contact to the server. That's how the installation would be completed. But in my case, I don't have any Kickstart server, sorry, the DHCP server to assign automatic IP. So what I need to do is I need to give a manual IP. Now, if you are working with RHEL 6 or RHEL 7 or CentOS 6 or CentOS 7, then we will use this way the IP address. You need to mention the IP 192.168.10 dot any free IP. Now make sure this IP is not given to any other machine, otherwise there will be IP conflict. Then we used to mention net mask, whatever net mask you want to use. So that's it, it used to work. But since RHEL 8.3 or CentOS 8.3, this might not work well. See, what happens in RHEL 8.3 and CentOS 8.3 is you need to select the adapter as well. See, whenever you are assigning IP to any adapter, you need to activate that adapter also. So if you don't activate the adapter, it is not going to work out. So what I need to do is I need to mention IP, which IP to use. IP, after that, what is the subnet mask you want to assign? So I'll say assign subnet mask 24. Now, if you have a gateway, you can mention the gateway as well, right? I don't have any gateway, so I'm removing it. And you need to select which adapter you want to use for this activity. So I'll say use an adapter ETH0. See, ETH0 is first available adapter. Maybe to your machine there are multiple adapters connected. Whichever adapter that is first in the list, I want to use it. So I'm telling connect to Kickstart using FTP. But to connect it, use this IP and subnet mask and assign this IP and subnet on the first available adapter and use it. Now let me hit enter and see, will it work or does it give us any issues? Okay, seems everything's going fine. Now in a moment, it will download the Kickstart file and automatic installation would be performed on this machine. So on every client, you just need to boot with Red Hat DVD, point to Kickstart server, and rest of the thing will be taken care by Kickstart automatically. Now you can see that all the options will be automatically selected one after the other as per the Kickstart file what we have created. Automatically, it is going to select the keyboard option and root password, all that things it is going to do. You see, installation, destination, custom partitioning selected, kdump is enabled, IP address is assigned, keyboard is done, language support is done, time and date is done, root password is set. The only thing is it is going to confirm with Red Hat DVD all the required software is there or not. And once it is confirmed, you see automatically installation will be started. Now we don't have to sit and mention all the options. Everything has been selected automatically and your installation is performed on an automatic basis. So that is it, the way we have to do the Kickstart installations. Now let us say that we are done with that. I want to do one more different task. What is that? See, I want to do installation manually. I don't want any automatic installations to be done, but during installation or to start the installation, I don't want to use Red Hat DVD. Every time to do installation, I have to insert Red Hat DVD, boot with Red Hat DVD, and I need to perform installation. My requirement is I want to make a network server. So what's this network server? See, on network server, we'll create a directory, and in this directory, we are going to copy entire CentOS or RHEL 8 DVD. So we'll copy the whole Red Hat or CentOS DVD into this particular directory. And this directory we share with client either using FTP service or using HTTP service or using NFS service, whichever you like. But there is a small challenge here. Of course, you want to share this DVD with your clients, and clients should use and do the installation. But when you power on the machine, how come the client can connect to your network server, right? When you power on the machine, if there is an OS install, it will continue to boot with that OS. If there is no OS installed, it will hang printing a message that no OS found. So what I need to do is I need a platform from where I can connect to my network server. So that platform is available in the form of boot.iso. So you need to go to website or CentOS website. On that, with your version, suppose I'm going with Red Hat 8.3 or CentOS 8.3, I need to download boot.iso image. Now this boot.iso image is not a full-fledged Red Hat DB. It's a platform. After reaching it, you can connect to either FTP or HTTP or NFS and get your real media. So it gives you a platform to connect to your network server. Size of boot.iso would be 5 to 600 MB. So obviously you will not be able to do installation with boot.iso because original DVD size is around 8 to 9 GB. So where is 9 GB and where is 600 MB? So this 600 MB image is a platform that helps you to connect to your desired network source and get the media to perform installation, right? So in my case, I've already downloaded it from Red Hat website. If you don't have boot.iso, you can still continue to boot with your proper Red Hat DVD, what you might have downloaded. So even with Red Hat DVD, you can boot, and later on, you can change the option to network. So in order to achieve this scenario, you need to the entire DVD into your desired location. For example, I wanted to share the Red Hat DVD with maybe FTP. So if you want to share FTP, then make sure that FTP is installed, and in etc vsftpd vsftpd.conf you have changed anonymous enable option to yes. By default it is no, you must change it to yes, otherwise you will not be allowed to freely connect. So in my case I already have the package installed. We have already changed that option from no to yes. Now in var ftp pub you need to copy the entire RHEL8 DVD. If you have not yet copied, then you need to insert the Red Hat DVD in your virtual machine and mount the DVD on some location and copy the entire DVD. So you can say copy RVF, the whole DVD folder into var ftp pub rgl8. Now when you hit enter, it will take around 5 to 10 minutes to copy the whole DVD. In my case, it is already copied, so I don't want to waste the time in copying the DVD again. So you see the entire RHEL8 DVD is copied over here. Okay, great. So our machine is now ready. You should also check the services of FTP. Is it running or not? So as you can see, it is active, running, and enable. If it is not active or enabled, I have shown previously how to activate and enable it. Also, in firewall, FTP services should be granted. So you see, which is already granted. If it is not, then again, in the previous case of Kickstart, I have shown how to add FTP in firewall. So both the things are done. I just need to go to a client. Let me just turn off this client. I don't want to continue with the installation. So let me just power it off. Now, first of all, I'm going to change the DVD source from full media to boot.iso. I have already downloaded boot.iso. I'll go to settings. In the settings, I'll go to storage. See over here, you can see full RHEL8 DVD with 8.82 GB is connected. So I'm going to change this destination and I'll connect to boot.iso. Now boot.iso size is how much? 682 MB, which is small, and that's fine. Let me say, okay, let's power on the machine. So what we are going to do now is we are going to boot as if we are working with a normal Red Hat or CentOS DVD. I'll just go with option number 1, hit enter. The same way how we have tried to do a normal installation. So just boot normally without making any changes. Don't do the thing what we have done at Kickstart. Now here there is no automatic installation. We will do the installation manually, but I want to get the source of DVD from network, FTP or HTTP or NFS. So first we are going to see FTP, then we'll see NFS, then we'll go with HTTP also. So let's wait for it till the installer begins. Once installer started, then we will select the language and then we'll change the source. Now one more thing is there, you want to go on the network and connect to some other machine, right? So what you need to do is, first of all, you should assign an IP address to this machine so that it can contact to the server and get the media. Okay, so as you can see, it's asking for the language and your region. I'm in India, so I'll be selecting English India, and let me click on continue. Now this might take a little time to give me the dashboard. Okay, so the dashboard is available. Now, see, you have already seen the entire Red Hat installation process in the previous classes. So if you want, you can change the time and date. I'm in India, so I'm selecting my location so that the time and date is adjusted to my location. Next thing, as I told you, we have to go to network. Now, in order to go to network, assigning IP is important. So I'm going to click on network and host name. See, I want to assign an IP address on this adapter. I have only one adapter that is selected by default. Let me click on configure. I'll go to general. In general, I'll say connect automatically so that next time the system boot, this adapter must get activated automatically. Then I'll go to IP version 4 settings. See, if you have a DHCP server, it's fine. You can continue with DHCP to get automatic IP. In our case, we don't have DHCP. So let me click on this and I'll change it to manual. Then click on add an IP and assign a free IP that is not used by any other machine. So I'm sure in my environment 10.50 is not assigned to anybody else. I'll go with 10.50, press a tab, and 24 subnet mask is good. If you have a gateway, you can assign gateway. You can also give DNS server, other things. I don't have all those things, so I'm just saving it with these much changes. See, we have to activate the adapter. So click on this thing and you see the adapter will be active and IP will start working. Now let me click on done. I need to change this source. See, there is one more source by default it is selecting is CDN, Red Hat CDN. See, Red Hat CDN stands for Red Hat Content Delivery Network. So automatically from Red Hat website, you'll be getting the media and installation would be performed. But to go to Red Hat Content Delivery Network, you must be registered to Red Hat. So if you have a registration ID, like you must have your account with Red Hat, a valid account where you have purchased the subscription. So you need to give username, password, or at least you have to give your organization name and the key what is provided by Red Hat. So I don't have any Red Hat registration credentials. I'm not going to go with content delivery network, so I'll skip it back and let me click on installation source and change that source to on the network. So I'm going to change it and I'll be selecting FTP in the list. And what's the location of FTP server? 192.168.10.40. Inside public directory, the folder where you have copied the whole DVD is RHEL8, what we have created. So if you go back to server and confirm, in pub directory, the folder name is RHEL8. Now let me click on done. Now this might take a little time to contact to Red Hat network server. I'm sorry, not Red Hat server. So it is going to contact to our FTP server. It will update it metadata, and then it will tell us that yes, you've got connected. Now you can click on software selection and you can select any option, server, server with GUI, and any other options you like. So we'll do that software selection later. Now maybe I want to share the same thing with NFS. How can I share the entire directory with NFS? So if you remember the NFS session, what we have done with, see, NFS is pre-installed. You don't have to install it separately. It's by default available, right? Anything you want to share with NFS, you need to mention the details in etc exports. We have seen that in NFS class. So go to etc exports. In etc export, you can mention which directory you want to export. So I want to export a directory which is kept in var ftp pub with a name rgl8, and I want to share it with anyone. I don't want to keep any restrictions for client, and I want to give read and write option and synchronize option so that people can get it and they can make the change. Or if you fear that people might change the content, then instead of read write, you can give read only access. Depends on you. Now let me save and quit. Let me check it out. Is NFS services running? So I'll go with systemctl status NFS server. You see services are already running because this machine was already configured as NFS server. If the services are not running, then you can say systemctl enable NFS server -- now. So as the services are already running, I don't need that command. I can just use export fs-rv. So if services of NFS is already running, to update what you have added in etc export, you can run export fs-rv. So it will go to etc export and start sharing the new entry also. Lastly, you must also check that in firewall, NFS services are granted access or not. It is there. If it is not there, then you know how to add it. Firewall command add service NFS permanent. And then don't forget to say reload. Okay, so NFS services are also configured properly. Now I just need to go back to my client. I'll again hit on installation source. Last time I selected FTP. Now I'm going to select NFS. Now with NFS, you need to give IP address of the server, colon, complete location of the directory that is shared by NFS. What's the complete location? The complete location is colon after colon slash var ftp pub rgl8. All right, so I need to give slash var ftp pub rgl8. After IP, give a colon, then slash var slash ftp slash pub. All that detail we have to give. Okay, now let me click on done and see will it be connecting through NFS or not. So as you can see, it says connected with NFS. So this is the way how we have to connect through NFS also. Now suppose I want to connect with HTTP, that is web server. See, in order to go with web services, you must have HTTPD installed. So in our last class, we have done with HTTP server configuration. we have install HTTP services, right? Anything you want to share with HTTP, the default location is var www HTML. So I need to go to var www HTML and I need to copy the entire Red Hat DVD. Where is the Red Hat DVD copied as of now? It is copied in var FTP pub location. So in var FTP pub location, already there is 8.9 GB or around 9 GB DVD is copied. Now same DVD I should copy in var www HTML. Guys, I want to save time and size both. I don't want to copy the whole DVD again. Without copying the DVD, how can I make something available on other location? I want originally the directory to be copied in var FTP pub, which is already there. I want to see the same reflection of this DVD in HTML folder without copying it. So the most easiest thing is to create a soft link or a shortcut. So when you say ln-s, create a soft link for var FTP pub RGL8 folder. Don't give slash after 8, just give RGL8. And I want to put it in var www HTML folder. Now you go and check it out, ls-l var www HTML. Do you see that there is a link file created which is pointing towards var FTP pub RHEL8. The last two things are same. Check whether services of HTTPD is running. It's already running. If it is not, then systemctl enable HTTPD now. And also allow HTTP in firewall, which is also done. So I don't have to add it. In the previous class, I have already added it. If it is not there, then go with firewall command add service HTTP permanent and then reload the services. Okay. All right. Now I'll just test it. Am I able to see that directory or not? So I'll say HTTP :/192.168.10.40. In 10.40, I need to give the directory name. See, if I don't give anything, then it would display the website I have configured, or if no website is configured, it is going to display a test page. Now, after IP, give the directory name. Do you see we are able to see that? Yes, that means we are able to reach out to our directory through HTTP. Now go back to client, click on installation source, change the source this time to HTTP. And we don't need any colon, all that thing. We just need IP address / the directory name, which is RGL8. Now let me click on done. Now let's wait for it to get communicated with HTTP server and get us the DVD. So you see it got connected with HTTP as well. Now you can continue with your normal behavior. Go to software selection. You can select any of these, whichever you want. I want graphical installation, so server with GUI. Then guys, rest of the installation is same the way we have done installation previously, the standard installation. You have to create partitions, kdump, and assign root password and continue to work with. Okay. All right. Now the last thing what I want to do is I want to combine Kickstart and the network installation server. What does that mean? Guys, I want to do installation automatically. I don't want to put my hand during installation. But during installation, I want the media to be downloaded from FTP or HTTP or NFS server. So I need two machines. You can configure both the concept on single machine. Just for explanation, I'm taking a scenario of two machines. Suppose I have one machine which is configured as Kickstart server. On the Kickstart server, you have your Kickstart file, which has all the instructions to perform the installation. Then on the other side, you have a network server. On the network server, you have a directory where entire RHEL or CentOS DVD is copied. Now, I want whenever client is performing an installation, client should still be connected boot.iso. Now, through this boot.iso, the client should boot and they should simply connect to Kickstart server. Now, how they are going to connect to Kickstart server? Maybe they are using an FTP protocol to connect to that Kickstart server and get that Kickstart file. Now, from here, I want Kickstart to communicate to network server, get me a Red Hat DVD or download the media and perform the installation. So how Kickstart will go to network server? In Kickstart file, you have to mention the network option, how to connect to network server, either through FTP again, or HTTP, or NFS, whichever protocol you want. So we will be connecting to Kickstart server. Kickstart will automatically connecting to network server, downloading the media, and total installation will be automatic. So one small change you have to do in a Kickstart file, you have to mention the network server address, which server to connect and get the media. That's it. So how we are going to do that? Let me show you. We'll go back to our Kickstart server, go to the Kickstart file where you have kept it. I have kept it in var ftp pub. As you see, there is Kickstart file. I don't want to disturb it, so I'll make a copy of it. I'll say copy ks.cfg with a new name, ksnw, Kickstart Network Configuration .cfg. Now let me open Kickstart Network Configuration. Now here you can make whatever changes you want. Guys, I don't want to see graphical screens during installation. Okay, graphical screens might display some graphical things and all, but I don't want to see any screen. I'm not going to interrupt anything during installation, isn't it? So whether it displays graphics or command line screens doesn't matter to me. We have already seen how graphical things will displayed. Let's see this time how it perform installation in text mode. So I want installation to be done in text mode. So text mode will use less CPU, less RAM, and overall installation would be faster, right? And disable this repository or delete this line. See, this line is pointing towards CD-ROM. I'm not going to do installation through CD-ROM, isn't it? I want to go to FTP or HTTP or network. So we don't need this line, repo app stream something. Either comment that line or better delete that line. We don't need this line at all. Rest of the thing I'm going to keep the same. And over here, instead of going to CD-ROM for installation, I'll use network. Now, how to say that you want to go on network? See, to say that you want to go on network, you just need to mention this small thing over here. Let me show you. You need to mention URL hyphen URL. So if you see, you need to mention URL hyphen URL. You can either go with FTP or HTTP or NFS, whichever you want. So I'll say use this URL hyphen URL. This is the syntax. How to connect? Maybe I want to go with HTTP. So I'll say connect to this server 192.168.10.40 and the directory name is RHEL8. So only two changes generally we have done. You have to remove that app repo line, and in use CD-ROM, change the option to URL and mention the URL. It can be FTP, HTTP, or NFS. So I want to connect through HTTP. I'm telling that first you go to network, go to HTTP server, get the media, and perform installation automatically. That's it. Your network server file is also ready. Remember, the file name is ksnwcfg. Now I need to go back to client again, and let's reboot it. Okay, so we have to connect to Kickstart server, guys. Go to line number 1, press tab, and assign Kickstart location. So I'll say Kickstart is available on FTP 192.168.10.40 under public location. Your new file name is ksnw.cfg. But to connect it, you have to use this IP because we don't have DHCP. If DHCP is there, no need to assign any IP. 192.168.10.50, and the net mask should be 24, and first available adapter should be activated. Now when I hit enter, you see it is going to contact to Kickstart server. Kickstart will contact to network server, get the media, and our installation will be totally automatic. So this might take a little while to connect, but while it's starting the installation, it tells us the plan that how it is connecting. It tells us that it is using network, and this is the address it is going to use for connectivity. Okay, now it might tell us that how and from where it is going to get the media. So automated installation is starting. Over here, you can see it mentioned that it is connecting to HTTP so and so IP address and so directory, right? And now the connectivity is successful, right? So it's performing the installation. Package downloading is now in process. Automatic installation will be done now. So as we have selected text mode, no graphics has been displayed. And if you observe, that is a bit faster when compared to your graphical installation concept. So that is it, guys, for this session. We have learned how to go with Kickstart and network installation. That is it.